Are we headed to the lower support area? Will the price drop to say $0.03 or $0.06? Let's check where the XRP price is now and try to make a calculated guess about how the price may move so that your portfolio won't be burnt when or if it drops. Now, we are even way below long-term support area of the bearish trend line. So just looking at BTC price to see how the overall market is doing or how it may do, because most of them actually thinks that BTC may indicate our short-term price movements which is coming ahead. So if we look at that and try to put in this, it will give us more idea. If you see value in the video, please do hit the like, subscribe and the bell notification icon to get notified about the future videos. Welcome to the Scientific Investor channel, where we discuss crypto and science behind investing regularly. Before we discuss the chart and chances of price falling to hell, an update about what's happening around with respect to this will serve us better perspective. Now this is from the Cryptic Poet, and he argues that someone just flipped the switch. And yes, you may actually feel so when you see this, because as the index is going to all-time highs together, look at that, that's XRP to Mexican peso, XRP to Australian dollar, XRP to Philippine peso, all together, right? Fiat is being bridged. So it's in different corridors and the utility is kicking in. So what we were waiting for is the utility to kick in, and it is now happening when the price is moving to the downside. And new exchanges are listing XRP. That means the ecosystem is growing at a higher pace, and that gives the ability for more buyers to come in easily. When the world is upside down and the central banks are printing like they have diarrhea, Cryptopolis is spot on. I completely accept his statement and I completely agree with him. Central banks will print till they hyperinflate the economy. And when the hyperinflation kicks in, anyone seen how Venezuela's currency is doing in the public bins, the waste bins? If you don't, you really have to actually check that. If you listen to this, you will actually understand what happens when the utility kicks in and how the utility will be kicking in.
Attempted with XRP is not so much maintaining the value, but offering a vehicle for exchange, which is quite different, because there you can have value fluctuating. All you need is value to be stable for 10 seconds while the whole transaction takes place. And as a result, there's a whole different need for regulation. You don't need to regulate value. I don't care. So long as there is some value, the transaction can certainly take place. And as a regulator, I'm not so worried about either this displacing my fiat currency, because you're moving from one fiat currency to another. It's just an interim value. And it's a means of exchange.
Many questions raised, many questions answered, but still just easy. When he says the value need not be regulated, it's okay, but still the institutions which handle these value need to be regulated. So that's where the regulatory clarity has to kick in. But now the utility case is actually clear. You're like not displacing the fiat currencies. Instead, you're bridging them. So that's nothing to worry about the future of XRP. This is where we are now. And in a 1 hour chart, it is still following an upward trend line that's moving upside. And in a daily chart, if we don't incorporate all the important levels, then we will actually miss the information and it will be hard to understand what's happening and what are the odds out there and what's gonna happen. How can you manage your portfolio? Zooming into a daily chart, we can see that we are back above the buying zone, and a retest to bounce around say 0.185, 0.18 will confirm that, and that can actually happen. So in that case, when you look at this, which will also be representing the trend line resistance, which we are following from last 1 year. So if we manage to break above that, even after a minor correction like 0.185 or 1.8, it is cool. Zooming in to the chart on a 4-hour, as we discussed in the last video, there is a possibility that a 12 to 14% correction can actually happen here at this point. And that is the case, then we may actually reach around 0.17, 0.175 area. And the target is, as we discussed in the morning's video, where the minimum should be, say, around a 40% gain, but maximum it can go around 120% in rise. Then when we actually look on a weekly chart, it still looks like a heavy downside momentum is going on, and we can't neglect the chances of price coming back to 0.11, 0.12 area. But yes, the volume is actually rising, so it has to be seen what will happen. And if that encourages the buyers, like last time, say when we actually look at this chart here, we can actually see that buyers were actually encouraged to buy here. They were actually buying just above this particular area even last time. So in that aspect, if we are actually cool with that area, if we are coming down with that area, that will actually encourage more buyers like last time. Then the bears may start accepting that the price is kind of changing the momentum and the direction. So until that happens, don't be over leveraged. It may burn your account, or it may burn your XRP portfolio or the accumulated units. But if you are not leveraged, that's not a problem. You can hold, just hold on tight, So being careful in this market is so important, so that you won't blow up your XRP holdings or your entire account. If you see value in the video, please do hit the like, subscribe, and the bell notification icon to get notified about the future videos. Help the channel grow, reach out to more of our community members.